So I started being an agent officially about 4 years ago. And so I've always been a conduit, meaning connecting people and just never getting the percentage of it. How about that? So now I've just made it, I've made it official to take advantage of those relationships that I've had and just my marketing skills and my networking skills to get 10% off of every deal that I make.
Nice. And so real quick for our Facebook audience, I'm going to give you great content tonight. I'm about to really dive in with Patty. I'm gonna talk about growing your own business, and you're going to tap into another mind of another great entrepreneur. For our IG audience, if you can't hear the quality well, or if you can't see well, all you got to do is go to my Facebook fan page where the mic is tapped in, and you can get full quality and full video quality. And that's a Mr. Real Estate Morrison Facebook fan page. Make sure you like the page. I'm trying to get 100,000 before 2018. On Facebook, make sure you're sharing this now and allow this your Christmas treat. You guys out there spending money buying, you know how much I spent on Christmas this year? Guess how much I spent on Christmas this year for family gifts and friends gifts this year?
How much? $10.
Damn, a big goose egg. I'm Santa all year, damn it. See, I don't believe in celebrating the birthday of Christ by going out to exploit myself and my dollars by spending money with corporations. I believe I'm going to honor the legacy and the birth of Jesus Christ by doing the work that he did in serving and loving others. I'm not going to allow corporate America to brainwash me and my family to believe we got to go spend unnecessary thousands of dollars to prove a point about how we love each other or how we give. I'm going to save those thousands of dollars, and we're going to buy some more land, invest into our businesses, and build family legacy for our family and our business, as opposed to going to pump money into other businesses. And so,
I love it.
My treat to you all tonight is I'm sacrificing my Saturday night with Patty sacrificing her Saturday night to be here as entrepreneurs to give you guys some game and teach you all. So share this. This will be your Christmas gift to your Facebook friends by sharing this. So you can get some information, some insider information we normally don't get. So 2 things that I loved in what you said. One is you said officially 4 years ago, right? And it seems like you realized at some point that you were being a value add to people, connecting dots, making corporations money, making agencies money, making actors or talent money. And you were just doing it, I guess, as a friend and maybe getting a little something on the side as maybe a hustle. But you didn't formalize it to a business model. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Right. And so we watch so many of you guys are talented as hell. And you're doing some cool things. You got a little hustle on the side, whether that hustle is making some t-shirts, or you might be knitting something, or you might be doing some sneaker restoration, or you got some kind of skill or talent. But until what I always say is that business is just formalized hustle. Hustle is informal business.
Yep.
And so 4 years ago, you formalized that business in Chicago?
Yeah, I did start in Chicago, yep.
And then, so recently, is this as of like the last several months that you've now come to Atlanta?
No, I've been here for 2 years now.
Okay, so you've been in Atlanta 2 years now, but you've realized that in Atlanta there was an opportunity to not just exploit the actor talent, not going to say exploit, but not just to leverage, to maximize, to build with, capitalize, right? The actor talent. You saw there's a lot of talent throughout Atlanta, and why can't Patty Gill and her agency represent the writers and the producers and the directors as well?
Yeah.
So has opening up your business model to different niches, has that been a challenge for you, kind of going into a different niche here in Atlanta than Chicago?
You know what? It's not a challenge in Atlanta per se, because Atlanta's a right to work state. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but a right to work state, meaning that the union isn't precedent. So, like SAG-AFTRA, the union that typically represent the actors, they're not real, it's a non-union state. So that means you can have a right to work whether it's a union project or not. Chicago being a very, very strict union state, you just have to operate different. It's a lot of red tape, and it's not in Atlanta. So Atlanta, it's very fluid, so you can move around differently. And I recognize that, and I had so many people coming up to me wanting me to represent them, but they weren't only actors, they were writers, they were directors. And creator myself. So I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why would I just want 10% of the actor? I would much rather have 10% of the writing. That's what the money is anyway, you know?
Right.
So it's, so I like this model. So I am in more favor of this model, but I can't really operate the same way in Chicago.
Right. So I noticed that just, so a little bit on me and for yourself and for those who don't know me, I'm most known for being one of the bigger influencers in the real estate industry. For the last 13 years, I've been a real estate developer, mortgage branch manager, officer, celebrity realtor, coach, mentor, all types of things. But what many don't know is I've owned over 24 businesses, everything from nightclubs to liquor licenses to obviously real estate development companies to my own school, the J. Morrison Academy, school uniform, fashion collection, to entertainment companies, a record label, a courier service, staffing agency, a production company, right, and so many other businesses. And what I found through my journey of entrepreneurship, and it's so, that's why I love interviewing other entrepreneurs, is it seems like we know we might start with one vision and one model. So you might have had one vision in Chicago, then saw that laws or regulations were different in Atlanta, and it gave you, like you said, was more fluid for you, allowed you to make some more moves. So what was that aha moment or epiphany moment for you where, like I always say, and I was taught by my mentors, path of least resistance. A lot of times we have something in our head and we just try to hammer it through a wall instead of looking at where the low-hanging fruit is, like where we don't have to work so hard, right, to get what we want. It seemed like Atlanta kind of did that for you. It kind of was like, wait.
I think Atlanta did it for me. I think the energy here is, as much as I love Chicago, really I love Chicago. So, but Atlanta is just a different culture, and it has its ups and downs. You know what I mean? But I think after witnessing it, after like observing and checking it out and really respecting it, I mean, like, it's so much ambition here because there are no rules.
Wow.
So there's a drawback from that, of course, because
right.
And then you have more quantity than you have quality, right?
Okay.
That's probably the only hiccup I would say.
Right.
But it's not like that quantity isn't going to slowly evolve into quality, and hopefully I'm that one that's going to help mold that into quality. You know what I'm saying?
I love that perfectly. All right. So. And that boils down to a lot of what you see Democrats and Republicans talk about in regulations, even in the financial markets. Like Republicans believe there should be less regulations. Let people rock out, right? Like let them go ahead and handle their business. A lot of Democratic beliefs believe let the government restrict businesses and create more rules and laws so there's more quantity, there's more barriers to entry, so only the best of the best are in these industries.
Right.
And so that does alleviate some of the scams, some of the BS, some of the fraudulent, some of the, all that. But then it also restricts at sometimes the newer investor, the newer entrepreneur who's trying to get it started, right? Who's having these issues. So I love the fact that we're talking about in Atlanta, it's more fluid to do business, which creates a lot of business owners. So there's a lot of people hustling, doing what you do. But the dope part about it, well, you know how to see what I just said. There's a lot of people hustling doing what you do. But there's not, when you get out of hustle mode and now they got to formalize a legitimate business, now you got the hustlers versus the real entrepreneurs and the business owners. And that's where the cream of the crop rise to the top.
Absolutely.
And same thing in the real estate industry. Anyone could be a real estate investor, wholesaler, house flipper. Anyone could do it. No one's stopping you from doing it. But it's the difference between that mom and pop real estate investor, wholesaler, house flipper, than that real estate developer, investor, that company, that organization, that brand you can trust, right? And so I think that's what you've done a great job of, is separating yourself apart from the pack. Where here in Atlanta, there's a lot of people that look like me and you who are doing business and especially in talent here in Atlanta, in the talent agency, are PRs or public relation managers and actor agent, like everybody in Atlanta are publicists.
Yeah.
But how you formalize yourself is one way you separate yourself apart. So what are some things that you've done in formalizing your business or to separate yourself apart and that have allowed you to scale to two different cities? Like what are some things that you've done that have helped you scale?
Well, with my former partner in Chicago, we were the only African American SAG franchise agency in Chicago. So we ended up getting a lot of press because of that, because there was nobody to represent people of color. Okay, so that was a big deal. So then coming over to Atlanta, I'm not a SAG franchise, but I'm an ATA franchise. And I don't know if you're familiar with the talent agencies like CAA, William Morrison, UTA. Those are the really big ones, the ones who represent, Brad Pitt, Samuel Jackson, and things like that. So I may be misquoted, but I like to say that we're probably the only African American one. I know we're the only African American owned one in the Southeast region.
Wow.
We're an ATA franchise, and that's because a lot of people don't know that you can represent actors and you can still write and produce, because typically, I can speak for myself. I'm a creator, so I had a lot of limitations on me of just representing an actor.
Gotcha.
So in doing that, I was able to just utilize my relationships in a different way and in a better way, because it's put me in a better platform. So the people that typically would have come to me, they're coming to me. Our meetings are different now.
Right.
My posture is different.
Right, gotcha. Your posture is different, right? Because now you have separated yourself being one of the ATA franchised offices, which many people can't tout or boast or say that they are. They're just agents.
Those a lot of times they're scams, actually. So, we just had an open call last week, and a couple of potential clients we met with, they told us about an agency they were with. I wasn't familiar with them, and I said, well, are they franchised? Meaning they have to have some sort of regulation to them, because you're not going to just go to a bank that's not regulated or backed by the federal government, right? You're not going to invest your money in something that doesn't have any type of, protection, and that's the same thing with the talent agency. So someone, Joe Blow, he goes up and open up his agency, and there's no one to regulate it, then I would be, cautious for that, and that's what we are not. We are regulated by the state of California, which is the industry for talent. Period.
Gotcha. So having that regulation or designation, right, helps you to stamp yourself, or for customers to feel that you're validated because you have this regulation or designation that a lot of agencies don't have?
Right. And we can only, because actors or writers, directors that are part of the deal, because there's a deal to every position. So SAG actors are represented by the SAG Actors Guild, the Screen Actors Writers Guild, and there's a Writers Guild, WAG, and there's the PGA, the Producers Guild of America. We are a part of all of the guilds. So we can represent all of those different roles because of our franchise.
Gotcha. And so when you started your agency, what were some of the hurdles and obstacles when you first started as a new entrepreneur? Like, you know what, I'm going to take my gifts and talents, I'm going to monetize them, I'm going to create a business model out of it. What were some of the challenges that you saw really starting to have your own formal business?
Well, you have to get a bond. And so a bond it's a surety bond, and that's pretty much insurance. So if your business goes under, or you get money from one of your clients, and somehow something happens to the money, that is covered to make sure that the client is getting their money, regardless if it's done away with the money, mishandled the money, anything of that sort. So you have to get a surety bond, and I think that's about $10,000.
Okay, gotcha. So getting that $10,000 startup money was one of the bigger barriers to entry for someone who just says, I want to be a manager, is that you want to get bonded. That's another way of formalizing yourself. That's another value add, right, for your clients to say, hey, I'm a bonded company, so if something does happen, there's some protection? Yeah,
so there's a special bond company to give surety bonds. And you don't pay the full 10, but you pay a percentage of that, and that depends on your credit.
Gotcha.
Okay.
What were any other barriers to entry or hurdles you felt you had to kind of overcome to get it popping?
You have to get a physical location for business. So you can't get a shared space. It has to be a location designated just for the agency. Gotcha.
So bond. So you got so outside of just doing it out of your garage or doing it in your house, you got to have a physical location and some kind of no shared space, right? So a real location. Now is that in Chicago? Is that in Atlanta as well?
Both of them, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so you can't have any shared space. So you're looking at a location. I mean, a lease can go anywhere from $500, $600, $700, $800 to $1,500 or $2,000 a month, right?
Yeah, I mean, like Atlanta's rent is way better than Chicago's actually, but yeah. So just you can put about at least $800 you're going to spend a month on a non-decent location. Because being a talent agency, you kind of want to be around other creatives. You want to be in the same.
Right, you want to be in the mix. You don't want to be out in the outskirts and like, hey, come to my office out in Smyrna somewhere. Like you want to be like, hey, come to a prime location where you feel like you're going to do something special, right?
Yep.
So yeah, so we're gonna say if we're looking at annually, just say 12 grand annually, right?
Okay, that's fair.
And then we're gonna say even within that space, you gotta furnish your office. You gotta have a little bit. I mean, you ain't gotta go high end, but you gotta have some swagger. When people walk in, you want to make an impression with clients and say, hey, listen, trust me, and I want to talk about that a little bit, your model, but trust me to be your representative that I'm gonna go out and do this networking and bidding on your behalf. And I got enough swag and charisma and all that other stuff to make people buy into you as my talent, right?
Right.
So we'll call it, even on some frugal furnishing, we'll say 5 grand.
That's fair.
Right? 5 grand on our furnishings.
Then you need a website, marketing, design, all of that good stuff.
Oh yeah, you definitely got it. Yeah, that's one of your first interfaces, website, marketing.
Yep.
To make your presence. So we can call that 5 grand. Maybe starting off.
Say it again.
Say call that 5 grand starting off. Website, branding, marketing, collateral.
Mm-hmm.
Right? At least. Right. And so when you started off, did you have any interns working with you? Did you hire any staff, assistants?
Yeah, now that was the because we were franchised. A lot of the colleges when we started in Chicago, Columbia, and the really great colleges that are known for the entertainment business, we had access to the interns, and like here, I have access to Spelman and Clark. So, so you want to, of course, utilize that because they get credit for it, and you can work it. So it's just being smart, working smart.
Gotcha. Yep. So leveraging your resources, leveraging your being franchised, the validity of your business. Hey, I'm not a mom and pop hustler shop, but we're a real business here and working with students. All right, love that. So we got bond, location, furnishing, website, marketing, and then we have your, what we call our T&E, travel and entertainment. You entertaining clients, you entertaining potential producers, movie producers, directors, etc., being in the industry, being in the mix. What do you think you would spend in a year just to schmooze and mingle and get around and be on the scene?
I mean, I would be fair to say everybody has their own, language in the way they network, because I'm not typically a networker. Like I hate it. But, in the typical way of trying to hand out business cards or whatever the case is. But I would say, I don't know, it just varies on who you are. So, I mean, it would be fair to put $1,000 in there. No, put $600 because that typically you want to be part of something. Like I'm a member of the Soho Club, and that's in Chicago, LA, New York, and so typically that membership is about $200 a month.
Gotcha.
So that's networking though, because you
have an allegiance, you have an alliance.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
So that. And then just on having meal and drinks, you're spending probably about $500-600 a month just based off of that. So say $6,000 a year, just being safe.
Yeah. So let's say $6,000, say $600 a month, $7,200 a year, $7,500 a year, somewhere around there. So we'll say $7,200, $600 a month just to be a part of clubs, be a part of memberships. And this is entrepreneurship 101. We just want to. The goal for me, Patty, in this series and just in my lectures is that. I started in business at 25 years old. I'm now 37, been in it 13 years, going on 14 years. Prior to that, spent 10 years in the street hustling and didn't understand formal business. So as I've had this ride through entrepreneurship and have become an author and TV personality and active, all these just different things, whatever I want to do, I do. And having that flexibility and freedom, I want to make it plain and make it simple because I think no one really came back and said to us like, hey, this is how business works. This is the things you got to expect to start off. Like, here's some learning curves. So, so I want to kind of give that back. Like, here's just some real perspective on, because a lot of times somebody gets a great idea, You never really map out a business plan, a full budget for yourself, expectations. You just say, I'm gonna hop out there and I'm gonna go get it. And then in 3 months, 6 months, you found yourself undercapitalized, broke, distressed, trying to figure out how to keep your idea afloat because you never really mapped out your idea, right? So I think this gives us some perspective. So when we talk about business, one of the key words we use is business model, right? So you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I tell all my students, no matter what business there is, the goal for you is to be the go-to person within your sphere of influence when it comes to that business. So when anyone in your sphere of influence, family, friends, church, mosque, clubs, associations, fraternities, sororities, whatever, when they think of talent management, they should be thinking of you. Anyone that is within your arm's reach, correct?
Yeah, but it was talent representation because I'm not a talent manager, I'm an agent.
Right, talent representation.
Okay.
And great distinction, right? So making sure it's clear, this is what I do.
Right.
Because a lot of times people will come to me, hey, Jay, can you show me a house? I'm like, bro, I'm not a realtor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was a realtor for 10 years ago, but I'm a developer, I'm a coach, I'll lend you money maybe, but I'm not going to go run around showing you houses. But
right.
Those things can get mixed up. People don't know the difference between a talent representative or agent or talent manager. So great.
Yeah.
So you've made yourself the go-to, but when you first started, you were saying, and we'll talk about your business model currently, is there a mix between, one, you have to kind of market and position yourself with talent to represent them, right? But then also you have to kind of market and build relationship with
casting director, production
the directors, people that are cutting the checks, right?
Casting agency, yep, everyone that cuts a check, yep.
Yep, so so it's the same thing, again, in all business. When you're an entrepreneur, I gave you the definition of being an entrepreneur earlier in this webinar, this lecture, and this interview. Another thing to remember about being an entrepreneur, we're all exchanging products or services in exchange for compensation, no matter what it is. If you're in real estate and you're a landlord, you have tenants, that's your talent, right? And then you have your property, that's your money, or this is your product. Or excuse me, vice versa. Your product here is talent. If this was real estate, your product would be the property, the two-family. And your money would be the tenant, which in this case, your money are the agents.
Right.
If we were selling, like yesterday we interviewed Black Money Matters, a young fashion designer. I'm wearing one of their pieces, one of the limited edition J. Morrison collection. Their product, right, so we always got product. Their product is t-shirts. And then the consumer is the money. You are the go-between between the product and the money. That's entrepreneurship 101. I don't care if it's video services.
Right.
The videographer has the camera and that service of recording you, editing you. That's the talent. You, the consumer who needs to book that videographer, is the money. So you always got kind of a dual job, right? To always identify, to be analyzing your current talent roster, looking for new talent, marketing, right, promoting yourself. Because at the end of the day, this talent is I guess they're paying you. You said 10%. Is that your fee for within your agency?
The standard rate is 10%. So if you have the right roster and the right clients, 10% of every deal, that adds up very well.
Gotcha. So we're constantly looking at getting as much product as possible, inventory, because you're saying to these directors and producers, look at my inventory, look at my t-shirts, look at my houses, look at my, right? Like, look at my product, right? These people, this talent. So you want to keep racking up your talent list and roster, and then when someone lands a big role, you want to market and publicize that big role to say, hey, look what we did and look what we got, and you guys should want to be a part of our organization because we got such and such this, such and such that. So can you talk about some people on your roster and some of the, would it be writers, actors, whoever, and just some of the things that you guys have helped them land in your business over the last several years?
What was the question? I'm sorry. What about them?
Just some of the accomplishments of some of your talent and some of the talent that you have or have worked with in the past.
I have actors. There's a Showtime show called with Common and Lena Waithe, the executive producer, called The Shy, and that's coming out in January. My awesome talent, Erica Watson, is a part of that. I have people on Chicago PD, Empire, Star. I mean, all the major network shows that you see. We have Larry Grimm, who's on the Quad. He's on pretty much every episode of the Quad that she's here.
Cool.
In Atlanta. Great films. I was privileged enough to work side by side with Spike Lee and Chirac. Even though it had mixed reviews, it was just a blessing and an honor for me to work with him. And I think he kind of threw the bug in me. I was like, really wanting to more so be a creator. So the thing is that we're not just waiting around trying to get work. We're creating the work. That's why I represent directors and writers.
Right. Yeah. My fiance, you may be familiar with Ernestine Johnson. She was actually in the Quad recently on a show at Saw How to Prince. And also, she says the same thing, create, don't wait. So you can wait around for roles and for gigs, or you can create the content and create the roles, and then you're also bringing, so that's another way of bringing value to your talent and keeping checks coming in.
Yep, absolutely.
Right. So guys, so from a business model perspective, what Patty is simply doing is that she's the go-to for representing talent as an agent, right? And she's constantly building relationships, roster of directors, producers, actors, films, or co-creating films or projects that can mix and match her talent pool with this pool of people that need the talent, need the writers, need the directors, need the actors. And in between that, she's getting a minimum of 10% for doing so. And so her job on the everyday is to make sure that she's getting the bonding, keeping the bondings that she's needed, getting the franchising that she's needed, figuring out how to position herself and her business as high on the totem pole as possible, separating herself from all the hustlers in Atlanta and hustlers in Chicago, minority owned or not, and continuing to elevate her business while she's always on a chase to build relationships, no different than what we teach in the J. Morrison Academy when it comes to real estate entrepreneurship, where you're always looking for deals. You're always looking for deals, but then you're always looking for tenants, you're always looking for investors, you're always looking for joint venture partners, you're always looking for end buyers. So you constantly got dual marketing going, but the easiest way to do that is by doing things like this, doing this interview, positioning yourself, announcing yourself. Announce yourself to the world and understand that no one's going to promote your brand. If you don't make your agency a big deal, no one else is going to make it a big deal.
Right.
So what are some of the things that you've done outside of the technical things we talked about from a marketing perspective? How have you been able to position yourself well in the business?
Well, I just produced my first short film.
Okay.
And so that was a great experience for me because I accomplished it. And so now I have empathy for everyone that I represent.
Gotcha.
You know, it's a different thing to just represent someone and read about it and understand what they do than to actually do it. And so I have a better way to sell it. I have a different viewpoint and perspective on how to sell and pitch my talent because I've actually done it.
You work with them now in a more intimate way?
Say it again?
Is it because you work with them now in a more intimate way because of the short film?
The short film, yep. So we're in different, I think I'm answering your question correctly.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Like your ability to now, I guess, understand your talent better, is that because you work with them now in a different capacity?
Absolutely. So I've pretty much worked everything that I've represented, I had to work it on my own. So it's more than just reading a book and understanding what a director does, what a producer does. I'm working hand in hand with a director and understanding, okay, this I get it. You know, so there are just some hiccups that I understood before I did my own film. So
gotcha.
Yep.
Oh, that's great. So let's talk about, here we got, okay, 22,000 in a year. We have 27,000. We got 32,000. We got 39,200, looks like, right? So we'll call it 39,200.
Okay.
Not to mention any other miscellaneous cost that just comes with the cost of doing business. And so I found that majority of small business startups are around in a year or about that 40 grand mark. You're like, typically what you would make in a year at an average job, about 40 grand, is typically what it takes to run an effective business for the first year in regards to reserves or startup costs, right? And so, you know, what we've been doing outside of just educating people and teaching them about business, motivating and inspiring them, we also offer our easy funding. We're also giving people the opportunity to get capital, to get unsecured business funding for their ideas, to finance their ideas, and to be able to take that higher than average financial risk, but not risking their own money, risking the bank's money.
Okay.
And so anytime in your process of you building your business or scaling your business, have you tried to get any kind of business funding, bank loans, SBA, or any of that? Have you went through any of those processes?
I remember with my former agency, first did it, we took a really bad loan, but we paid it back. And I was like, because we were doing so many, we were growing way faster than what we could afford to do.
Right.
Which is a good thing, but it's a bad problem. I mean,
it's a good problem, but it's a bad problem, right?
Right. And so we took a loan that was pending against our future bookings.
Right. So basically a factoring loan where they factor your invoices and receipts. I'm very familiar from my staffing agency. They factor you based on what you're going to make in the future. Right. So go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, because we had a ton of deposits. So they were looking at all our deposits, but the thing is the interest was stupid. So we got a loan, we got a lump sum of money, but it was really wiped out because by the time we paid it back, we had paid them so much money back.
Right.
The interest, but we were stuck, because we didn't have all the traditional, we didn't meet.
Oh, we got frozen a little bit. Oh, all right. You didn't have the traditional. You got frozen. I didn't hear the last part.
Say that last part.
You got frozen. I didn't hear the last part. You were saying you couldn't go traditional, so you got stuck.
We got stuck. I mean, because we didn't meet the traditional criteria, because they want you to really be in business for at least 2-3 years before they even really sit down with you.
Right.
And then you don't want to really ask anybody to co-sign because they're looking at you like they don't know if you're well, you on to something next. When you're a true entrepreneur, you have to really be wired to do this too. It's not for the faint of heart. So you have to be driven by passion. So all those things that you listed, this is not just I woke up one day and did it. You have to actually be placed on this earth to do it. So you won't pass out.
Right. This ain't for everybody. Right. We say that in entrepreneurship. That's why I say is that if you don't have the true entrepreneur spirit, and I caught something you just said. She's like, I don't want to go ask family and friends for a loan because they're going to be like, here you go again with another one of them ideas. And that's most of us.
Yeah.
Most people that were entrepreneurs, we all been trying all types of shit. We're always trying to figure out planting seeds, waiting, harvesting those seeds, waiting for to reap that harvest. Some seeds don't work out. You probably tried other businesses that haven't worked out. And then you find that one that hits and you're like,
there you go.
I got it, right? So listen, that is the lifeblood of entrepreneurs. Some of you will be lucky and pop off on your first business and never look back. Some of us will try 13, 14 rounds before we actually figure it out. And your friends and family will look at you like you're crazy for doing so until your agency pops off and you're in Chicago and Atlanta and it's, I knew you always was going to do it.
Right, of course.
It's easy then. But back to that factoring, which is very interesting, what a lot of entrepreneurs don't understand is that, listen, most of us don't come from family wealth. We just can't ask our uncle to write a 75 grand check to us. We just can't go home to mom and just get 50 out, out of her savings. So we have to use creative financing like leveraging the equity in properties. This is why if you're not a full-blown entrepreneur, I say at least own the roof over your head, at least own a 2 or 4 family house, and then that's the most of your risk, cool, but put your family in position for some kind of asset, some kind of passive income to have something that they own, the next generation, and something you could tap into later to be able to fund your businesses, right? So that's one thing. 2 is that many of us have had that same situation. We bust our butt, we grind it, our business is scaling, it's flourishing, but now we need more. Our name is good, the model is solid, but we need more capital to pay all these people in order to keep the business afloat.
Yeah.
But you go into Bank of America or Wells Fargo or one of these banks, they want you to have 2 to 3 years tax returns and bank statements that match your loan amount, and you got all this stuff that typically can't do as a small business. If we had it, we wouldn't be coming to you.
Exactly.
So they don't really want to fund your idea, right? So that's why we've come up with this creative algorithm to be able to get you guys funding from 50,000 up to 50,000 to even 250,000 in 1 year of unsecured, uncollateralized funding, no tax returns, no bank statements, no employment needed. Now, in that funding, as you said, we try to keep all our fees as reasonable as possible. We know people are struggling, but it does cost to be able to borrow money at risk. So those factoring companies, they leverage your receipts to say, all right, this is how we secure our risk. They collateralized your loan. They said, we're going to loan you the money, but the collateral are your invoices or your future receipts, right? So we're offering you an opportunity to fund young entrepreneurs with no collateral. We're not going to secure your invoices. We're not asking for you to put real estate up. I'm going to tell you about easy funding. But the business principle I found in what you said, because I've done factoring for my staffing agency. I had a staffing agency, and we had hundreds of warehouse employees. So the warehouses would cut us these big checks to pay our, warehouse staffers, but the checks don't clear for like another extra 10 days.
They gotta pull you.
But they want their money Friday.
Right.
So we find a position, we got $40,000 and $50,000 of payroll that we got to pay out, but we don't got that much payroll, but then we got a new warehouse that wants to sign us up for new employees, but we got to be able to pay them week 1. But we're not getting paid from them for another 30 days in the hole. So you got a business that's thriving and growing, but you don't have the operational capital to support the scaling of your business. So we had to go through factoring companies that would charge us interest based on those future receipts. We hated it too. But we had to work our way through those high interest and high fees because we had no other option and we wanted to keep our business afloat. So if you had not done the factoring at that point, where do you think your business would be right now if you would have said?
It would have, I'm independent now, but it would have definitely flopped because, like I said, we were going way too fast. We needed some money to just keep going afloat, and then you can't tell, because especially with this particular business, it's such a shallow business on outside. So you have to kind of keep a certain look about yourself while you're trying to grind it out and get these deals done. Well, absolutely, we would have just gone under, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's what we call it, the carrying cost of doing business. Like nobody wants a struggling, bummy looking, can't keep the lights on talent agent. Absolutely. No one wants that from a real estate coach or developer or author or motivational speaker or none of that. So here you are, you're the visionary, you see your business about to blow. You feel it. You know in your heart the seeds you planted are paying off, but here you got some operational expenses that you have to pay in order to keep your business thriving, and so you had to take a really aggressive loan to do so, but that loan got you through that rough patch to get you believed in yourself, you bet on yourself.
Absolutely.
And it got you to a point where now your agency's thriving, and not only one agency at that point, you had one at that point?
Yeah, I only had one, but now, I was partnered with one, but now I have two in 2 different cities.
Right. So I guess the point I'm trying to make to you all watching this, again, IG, I hope you're getting this on my Facebook Live. For my Facebook audience and my YouTube audience who will be watching this, I'm just trying to give you the real deal on entrepreneurship. Not the internet guru talk, not the motivational house flipper talk, not none of that. Just the real deal in my garage. This is how I built my business. In my garage with a big whiteboard wall mapping out my mind map of my whole business.
I love it.
Mapping out my whole model. You got to take it out of your head, put it on paper, see what the gaps are, right? So I will look at this, for instance. I'm going to tell you guys, again, we'll get into a little technical side. So in our easy funding, and I'll put our website right here for those who don't have it already, is www.jma, that's our school, J. Morrison Academy, easyfunding.com, right? This is for anybody to apply for unsecured, uncollateralized business funding. No employment needed, no tax returns needed, no bank statements needed. Just leveraging your credit and a business compliant profile will help you build. If you don't have your LLC or S Corp or corporation yet, we will still work with you in helping you build that company for startup money to be able to fund that company, right? Under our easy funding. Our number for our school is 1-844-JOIN-JMA for those who don't know. Call our team Monday through Friday, 9 to 6 p.m. Right? So boom, this is our easy funding. But I want to talk to you about it practically. So in this talent agency model, right now, our average student gets about 50 grand. We just got one of our students 71,000 in 10 days off a business she had for 3 weeks.
That's
she had an LLC for 3 weeks, got 71,000 in 10 days. right? So let's look at that model. So if you got $71,000 in 10 days, her application fee was $500. That was her only upfront investment, was $500 application fee. And then we charge a back-end funding fee of 10%. So in this model, she paid $7,000 to get access to, what was $71,000, but now we're going to call $64,000.
But she gives the $7,000 after she receives the 70.
After she receives the 70. You don't got to pay it up front on the back end.
Okay.
And that's just our fair exchange, no robbery. Let's do some good business. I'm going to get you loans without a bunch of paperwork and on minimal business plan and minimal qualifications and documents. All we ask is for, and the industry standard is 15 to 20%. We cut them down to 10% on our funding fee. So right now, my client and student has $64,000 of unsecured money, and it's not a loan. So she's not paying on the $64,000. It's just sitting there as a credit line and credit cards for her to use towards her business. What do you say?
She gets it as she needs it, so it's just a line of credit waiting for her.
As she needs it.
Oh my God.
Right. So now, if her first need was to get a bond, and that bond was $10,000 or $5,000 or whatever it was, cool. Now she got a bond. She spends that $5,000. Now she got $59,000 left. Then if her next need was I got secure location, she don't need a $12,000 for the location. She just needs her 1 month or 2 month security deposit. Her first month rent, she spent $3,000 for that. So then she'll be down to $56,000. And then she'll be paying monthly on that, but she has the reserves for her year rent. She want to furnish a place, another $5,000, cool. $51,000, still got it. And then as she's paying that monthly, she still has reserves to pay it monthly as she's going. All the way down to marketing, furnishing, travel, entertainment. And because you could literally, and see, that's what I'm saying, I like to be responsible as a coach and mentor. I don't want to hype you up on business and not giving you the ups and downs, the pros and the cons, and the real deal on business. Nor do I want to offer you our funding services without educating you on what it takes to be a good entrepreneur, be a successful entrepreneur. So in this case, the point is, you're talking about $39,000 to $50,000 to start and be in good position to be able to run a successful business that, depending on your hustle, on your relationships, your talent, your gifts, your calling, all that stuff, but you're at least putting yourself in position to be able to win in business, whether it be a talent agency or management or anything that is on your heart to do. If you map it out, you make yourself the go-between, and you got the capital and resources to do so, you put yourself in a better position to win than starting out with $5,000-$6,000 and believing that you're going to get it all popping off of $5,000-$6,000, $10,000. I'm going to start my business, and I'm going to make so much money that the money I make is going to pay for my business all along the way. So I think you give yourself a better chance. Do you agree, Patty, that you would give yourself a better chance for succeeding in business with a line of credit or reserves than not having it?
So I went on your website while we're on this talk.
Okay.
So you're saying that you don't have to give all the traditional requirements like a bank?
Correct.
He says no bank statements, no tax returns, and
no banks. Right.
So this is really for the entrepreneur. This particular loan is really for self-starters.
This is like, I understand, I know a lot of us make good money, but we want to try to minimize our tax liability. We want to expense everything that we can. So many entrepreneurs go to the bank for a loan. The bank wants to see your business income statements, and they're like, you only made $3,000 last year. Right? So we realized that hurdle, and we created an algorithm and a system to work with over 36 banks that we know to create a system where we can get funding without the tax returns, without the bank statements, without your financial statements, without your profit and loss statements, right? Without any of those things. And these are just the cost of doing so. Now we say, if you're someone that has all those documents, my tax returns are strong, my bank statements are strong, my income statements are strong, my financial balances are strong, my P&Ls are strong, and you got all that organized, and you can walk into the bank, and you can match an SBA loan with what you got in reserves, go get the SBA loan all day, every day. Right. If you can do that. But if you're the person that's trying to scale your business or start your business, and you don't have all those things lined up or don't want to expose all those things, then we're just giving an alternative option to be able to fund, improve your business with no collateral. So the cool part about it is that, God forbid, things get shaky, it's not affecting your invoices, it's not affecting your home, it's not affecting your business, right? You still got we're not saying, hey, let's sign over your business to us, put your home, your deed in lieu of foreclosure, let me put a lien on your property, let me put a lien on your future invoices and receipts. Right. This is true, unsecured, uncollateralized business funding, and it's a dope service. It really is, especially for those who know how to use it, you know how to work it. If you're someone that doesn't have a business model in mind, don't know how to hustle, 50 grand falls in your lap, and you think about going to buy a car, and that car ain't for transporting people or being a part of your business, it's probably not the loan for you, or the credit line or business funding for you. But if you're someone serious about, like Patty, someone serious about growing, scaling your business, living out your dream, you got a plan, you got the relationships, or willing to build the relationships, you're willing to put $700,000 of work ethic into your $71,000, this is the perfect kind of play. If you match work with some capital, and you got some hustle, and you got a vision, you give yourself a great opportunity to succeed in business. But the work ethic definitely has to be there for sure, right, Patty?
That's ideal for an entrepreneur. This sounds ideal.
Yep, thank you. So we tried to create a great product and service. It's not charity. It's not Christmas money. It's not philanthropy. It's business. We're exchanging a product and service in exchange for fair compensation. And I'm so cool with it. Again, if you can get better or cheaper funding anywhere else, not bringing in all those documents, then by all means, take that funding. But if you need an alternative to traditional financing and can get it in 10 to 30 days to tap into tens of thousands of capital, we got you, right? So JMA, easyfunding.com, 1-844 and join JMA to call us during business hours. This is the service that we're offering, but I wanted to put this service in real perspective outside of just Jay Morrison talking, I believe in Jay. I want to show you what different businesses actually entail, what they look like. So Patty, we covered fashion yesterday. The day before yesterday, we talked about flipping your first home or building your first home. I got students doing this to flip their first house. Unsecured, uncollateralized, no bank statements needed. Get this money, take your $64,000, now go flip your first house. Now go start your fashion label. And so every day to the end of the year, we'll be covering a new business, interviewing a different entrepreneur and business owner, and just giving you guys some tangible game and some tangible, something tangible to see in regards to what entrepreneurship really looks like, right? And so Patty, before I allow you to go, any tips, any motivation that you, or encouragement that you would give any young entrepreneurs out there that are watching this that you could pull from your journey?
I would say don't get in it unless you're passionate about it, because you're going to have to work for free for a minute.
Right.
Before you see the fruit. So don't get in it just for the money, but you want the money. But if you're not motivated and you wouldn't do it for free, don't even bother. So,
I love that.
You know, I mean, I'm not saying do it for free. I'm just saying that if you wouldn't do it for free, then don't even bother, because I would be doing this anyway.
Right.
So,
you love it.
Exactly.
Right. And you glow when you talk about it.
Yeah, and you know what? And it's really just making sure that you got the right people in your circle. That's the biggest thing. I've had to learn that lesson over and over again, because God will keep hitting you with it until you learn it. So it's really just connecting yourself with like-minded people and with people that you in the position that you want to be in, because that's the only way you're going to really learn.
Yep, absolutely. But I love that. I think that I'm going to use that, because I think as entrepreneurs, especially when you're starting a business or even in the middle of your business, there's going to be times you're working for free where you're not getting paid. Everything goes back into your business. I can remember so many times I was making money, but I had to pump that money back into my business to pay for staff, pay for marketing, pay for designations, to continually grow your business. If you think it's going to be just an overnight success, you're not willing to put in the years of grind for that harvest at the end, where maybe, you know, maybe the lights are on in your office, but the lights at home ain't on.
Right, exactly.
Nobody gonna know what's happening at home. You eating oodles and noodles at home, but that office fresh as hell though. If you're not willing to do that and sacrifice for your business, if you're not willing to pawn your jewelry to pay for your payroll or pay for your marketing, invest in your business, you're not ready to be an entrepreneur.
Yep.
That's why we're so passionate about it. I put everything on the line for my business. So when people talk any kind of ill of my business, it's a laughing matter to me because I put the work in. My work beats your rumor all day. Like, this is real grind, real work ethic. Patty, I think you display that as well. You do display that as well, Queen. I appreciate you taking out time on your Saturday night, Christmas weekend, to spend talking with us. That's that dedication, that grind. If there's any talent that's out there that are looking for any kind of agency representation, you got
Gill.
Patty Gill.
Absolutely.
Tell them where to find you.
You can go to gilltalent.com.
All right, you guys got that? And you want to give me your social media as well, Queen?
Say it again?
You want to give me your social media as well for anyone to follow you or your company?
I didn't hear you.
Your social media handles.
Oh, what is it? Gill Talent. Everything is Gill Talent. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Gill Talent. You'll find it.
As I said, look her up. Gill Talent. She owns it. Again, thank you all for watching on this Saturday night, Christmas weekend as well. Again, there's so many things we can be doing distracting us from our family legacy. I'm about new year, new bankroll. It's going to be a new year, new JMA. I'm all about building a legacy. I got 2 daughters. Both my daughters will be in town. I have a college-age daughter, 18 years old, who's in college, and my 9-year-old daughter, Anna, in London. And I gotta set them up so lovely. Unfortunately, I was born to a 17-year-old mom. She didn't have no assets. I come from a family that was in poverty. I come from a family that was hustlers. My mom was a drug dealer. My dad was a drug dealer. My dad was a drug dealer. My grandfather was a drug dealer. I inherited a different kind of asset in life. My goal is to set my daughters up and my daughters' daughters up. That's my goal. I'm past them right now. I got to set my daughters' daughters up so they don't got to go through what I went through and make the choices and sacrifices that I make. So everything's about that to me. Every dollar I spend, every lecture I do, every choice that I make going into 2018 is how does this have any impact on my family legacy? And when we start thinking like that, that's where we really start bridging that wealth gap. It's the only way. We got to prioritize our spending, prioritize our time, understand that black money matters, black talent matters, right? And we got to really stand on that. So a big round of applause for you, Patty. Thank you for showing up tonight and being a part of this with us. For you guys, everything that we offer, from our one-on-one coaching, our mentorship, our online program, weekly mentorship calls, our lessons, can all be found at jmorrisonacademy.com. Just Google J Morrison, it all pops up. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Tons of content, nearly 1,000 videos. Also subscribe to my my Facebook fan page. I want to hit that 100,000 fans by 2018. And make sure you follow me on Instagram at Mr. J Morrison. But we got the most authentic mentorship and coaching in the world. It's all at jmorrisonacademy.com. You also can, for the funding, jmaeasyfunding.com is also on that same website. And we're doing 50% off our one-on-one coaching. We cut the price in half for one-on-one coaching. That ends December 31st at midnight. That's for real estate investors and wholesalers. We're going to show you how to be the best real estate entrepreneurs in our coaching program. 50% off. Grab that program now before December 31st. And 50% off our application fee for our Easy Funding. Thank you guys for being with me for night 3 of 10 of our Easy Funding countdown for New Year's Eve. We'll be ending this on December 31st. I'm going to keep rocking with you guys, give you great content. Please share, promote, like, comment below, and support the brand. Love y'all. This is part of the J Morrison collection of Black Money Matters, dropping January 1st. Look out for the collection as we are dabbling in the fashion industry, outworking the work, fool. Peace.